Hello everyone, this is Costa Chisachi. I'm going to be taking you through design-based incrementalism with Henry. And the question was, in a bid to keep up with sustainable trends, companies have adopted design-based incrementalism. How does this process work and why is it relevant today? Uh, And they said design-based incrementalism refers to the process of continued modification in the current design in order to add more specification to it and update it to the next version. Here, in incrementalism, design-based, we are going to see product modification. Let me use an example of the bottling, Coca-Cola bottling. They back then they used to only have these glass bottles, but these days they have these reusable ones of 2000. They have these ones of 1K, the smaller one. They are adjusting the design in order. They are trying to update the design to match. And these bottles, as compared to the last ones, these are more recyclable as compared to the other ones. They're trying to update the version in order to make it more sustainable. Therefore, incrementalism is a method of working by adding to a project using many small incremental changes instead of a few extensively planned large jumps. Things are done in small changes, process by process. They will not just wake up with an idea and say we are going to produce a bottle of this kind, or we are going to. An example would be this thing of the polythene bags. It was a gradual process whereby people they removed from this ordinary cavera. There are these ones that look like they went to paper bags, the polythenes, but these days there is this new cavera they are producing that is in form of a cloth. So therefore, things are done in small steps, changes to see if they can meet customer requirements in a more sustainable manner. Therefore, it is important to upgrade product design in a timely manner because customer requirements are dynamic. Therefore, it's important to improve the product specifications to meet customer requirements. In any business, our major goal is to satisfy the customers. Therefore, we have to update our products in a timely manner because we have to meet their what requirements because they are dynamic. Today, someone may require, let me say, should I say, in terms of clothes. Today I may require a jean. Tomorrow I may require a gentle trouser. As a customer, what I will require today is not what I will require tomorrow. Always my needs, my wants will be changing, my needs will be changing. Therefore, design-based incrementalism focuses on addressing those major concerns. Henry, take us through the procedure of an incremental design.
Thank you, Costa. Good afternoon, members. Let us quickly look at the procedure of incremental based design. Like any other thing, it has a procedure or the steps that you follow to do this. The first step is incrementalism is based on the principle that those involved in a project should outset focus on the key business objectives that the project is to achieve and be willing to suspend detailed consideration of the minutiae of a selected solution. Yes, if you're going to change, people should come out and say, we want to change this. Our main purpose is this. Our production line has been rudimentary, the old one. We want to change towards a sustainable production line that is eco-sensitive, that is pro people, that is pro the environment. And when you set out that, you say we are going to do it like this, like this. When you have to have focus, you focus on a particular thing and you set out to do it. The second step, the project to be undertaken is defined and extensively illustrated clearly stating the objectives and the expected outgoes. So if you have defined and you say we are going to get into a sustainable production line, can you come out and illustrate properly how you're going to get there, what you're going to use, how it's going to come, the technology? Can you get graphs? Can you get pictures? Can you research and show these people so that the people that you're presenting this idea can buy it? There's something visual to show, there's literature to show them, there's something to show them. The third step, the general feasibility of the overall project is established. The general feasibility is about the finances, the money is involved. Have you done research? Can you put figures on every step of what you're going to do? Okay, you want to change towards a sustainable production line of your product, but how much is it going to cost at every stage? At acquisition, the procurement, the installment, the running, the first production, the market research, how much at every step there should be a feasible study given and the figures. Another step, all stakeholders involved in the project are identified and profiled. As you have identified your project and you're going to do it step by step, like Costa told us, process by process, you should identify teams and people that are going to drive this thing at every step. If the first step is research, who's going to head the research team? How experienced are they? What have they done in research before? That is what they call profiling. If I'm profiling Mr. Mulos, I'm going to say he is Mr. Mulosi. He is in his mid 40s. He has studied like this. He has experience in this. So at the end, he is fit to lead us in procurement and changing the supply chain. So you profile, you identify and profile every person who's going to drive at every stage. At procurement, there is this. At installment, the technical bit is this. At production, there is this. At marketing, there is this. And you move together. Is the relevance. How relevant is this project? How viable is it? How can it help? How advantageous is it? First, this model is more flexible. It is easier to test and debug during a smaller iteration. Yeah, because we're taking step by step, so it is flexible. If we had set out to buy power saving mode computers, we have found that now they are solar powered computers. It is flexible, we can change this, we're taking step by step. If we had bought power saving mode, but they have an issue, some of them that we have bought to sample, they're actually power saving, but they cannot support some programs, we can change. This is debug. We can remove those and bring new ones that can change. That is debug. So it is flexible and easy to debug. The next, less costly to change scope and requirements. Because you're doing step by step, it may be less costly to change at every scope. If we had thought that we were going to buy these computers, before we buy the computers and the servers and the generator, and we've only bought computers and have issues, we can change computers. So it is less costly than having bought the whole thing. At the scope of procurement, you change. At production, if we are starting production and we'll first buy the control panel of the machines that we have, and it is tricky, or what we had actually bought cannot support some of the machines or what we do, you change. It is less costly than changing the whole production line. The next step, the next point of relevancy, it lowers initial delivery cost. Yes, because you're taking it step by step. There is a cost, yes, but it wouldn't be like the initial one. For example, if you're going to change a production line, if you went in now and bought and shipped everything, the overall cost would be high. But if you're doing step by step, because it would be high probably for one of reasons, you're going to ship in a 40-feet container. But if you first bring a control panel, it could be 50 kilos. You use a cargo supplier. The next probably are the conveyor belts. You use another cargo, and at the end of it all, the costs are lower. The next step, it is easier to manage risk because risky pieces are identified and handled as they arise. Yeah, like you've seen that you're doing things gradually and step by step. So at every step, if a risk comes up, you handle it there and then, and you finish it and you move on. Other than probably installing like a whole production line, and you find that there are risks attached, and you need to change and tackle the bigger thing. So yeah, you're handling step by step the risks. The next point enhances customer participation. Yes, like we have already, like we have been seeing, at every step there are many stakeholders, and probably the ultimate goal of changing the production line and everything you're targeting at the customers. So you can involve the and who are customers? Even your suppliers of the raw materials are customers. Even the end product user is a customer. Even the transporter is a, so you involve all of them because you're moving step by step. You tell your suppliers, look, we are going to change our this. Can you adapt to this? And then they adapt and they change, and then it enhances their participation. At the end of it all, at the end of the day, even your customers will feel they have been part and parcel of the change because it has been gradual and they have been involved. Enables beneficiary participation at all stages. Yes, in most cases right now, if probably a factory is to change like a production line, what will they need? The directors will sit and they will director finance, managing director, and maybe operations, and they agree in the boardroom and they move and buy things. And probably where they're buying from, even sometimes if you buy from some of these big like China and other people, they will even offer technicians to come and install and monitor. So the people will not feel involved. But because it is gradual and you have sold it, it is the same as selling the idea. So at procurement, everyone will feel involved and they will move at production. So at the end of the day, all the beneficiaries of this, up to the final user, will really feel that they have participated in this. Another point, it enables continuous learning of the project teams. You all know that sometimes some people do not conceive things directly. You will come to a boardroom and someone will sell an idea, you will seem to have picked it. You don't even have room to ask very many questions. You move and they bring. But because this is gradual, as they implement it, as they do it stage by stage, even the one who has not picked the idea, they will learn it. They'll say, hey. So actually, at the end of the day, our production line will not be emitting more fumes to spoil the ozone layer. And actually, the paint and the colors that we are using that we are sending to the river, with this new line, we can recycle them and we get water to come and use. So everyone will conceive and learn till by the end of the project. Another point is that it minimizes resource wastage. What are our resources? Capital is a resource, land is a resource, people are a resource. So, if you move hurriedly and bring a new machine that will need probably another power line, that means you're going to install another power line, probably install another transformer, and again, you have new technical people that are coming on. You'll need probably the technicians that you've been using are outdated or their level of knowledge. So you may not waste. Since you're moving gradually and you have time to learn, you may use the same resources. You say we are not going to, at the end of the day, we are going to use a longer production line. But since we are first bringing it a control panel, it can go here. Then we use this. Then so at the end of the day, you're not going to waste or any of the resources and even the capital that you would have spent on moving and shipping and bringing in experts and giving them accommodation. You will not use this. Another point, it enhances innovation in the project through self-managing team. One of the things that empowers someone is to tell them, take up this project, it is your baby. If Mr. Mulos came in and said, you guys, at the end of the day that we want for every BPLM students that will come after to do online, but we want you guys to take it up, you do it well, and we shall benchmark on you. You will take it up and you feel it is your baby, and you will really innovate and say, here, while we're using this group, probably we're using Google Meet, we can use this. If you're using these computers, we can get this. So it will encourage innovation and people will actually be more innovative as they move. It enables let Costa continue with it.
It enables customer feedback in early stages of the project. As we have seen, incremental designs, design-based incrementalism, it's a process by process thing. Therefore, let me say, I will use an example. If Mokwano is producing a herbal soap onto the market, it shall first have to produce the first batch, send it out to the market so that they can review and they will receive feedback. Therefore, it will be more effective other than just producing the thing at once on market before consultations and and people say that we're not satisfied with what is on market, what you have produced. Therefore, customer feedback is very crucial. It reduces rework costs as smaller solutions are preferred. Rework costs, just waking up and putting something onto market or producing something. I will still use the example of the herbal soap, and you get negative feedback after you have produced a whole bunch or you have already changed the whole production line. Therefore, the incremental design will help you in this way. You will take things in smaller steps. Therefore, it means you will have to receive feedback, timely feedback, slowly by slowly, which means that you will use less costs. You will incur less costs in case of need to change something into, let me say, in case you need to change a product line or what, you will have to incur less rework costs. Then we have enabling working solutions as more elaboration of services and products is made in later stages of the project. Henry, can you please?
Yes, enables working solutions as more elaboration of services and products is made in later stages. Enables working solutions. So there are some problems that may come and you need to stop work. Or as you work, you may find hiccups and you need to get solutions. So, because you're doing things gradually, if you find a problem, you get solutions and you keep moving. And because it is slow and elaborative, so it gives you time to get solutions because you already know there's an elaboration of the services and you already know that this is where we are driving. Our dream is this. They have very well elaborated it. So in case of any working problems, you can quickly find solutions and you move on. And it is easier here because you're doing things gradually and in smaller steps. It would have been more complex and difficult if you're going to do it at a bigger scale. The next step is provide short-term solutions to complex problems. This is where a problem would have been complex. For example, if a company had decided to change like the whole production line, they procure, they buy and bring it here. And by the time they get to Uganda, they find actually that what they have bought is not compatible with the earlier machines they have, probably the conveyor belts and the rest. It would cost them a lot of money and the problem would be more complex. But here, because things are being done gradually, if you put on only the control panel of the machines and it can't work, you can change it, then you change the conveyor, then you change at the end of the day, because it has been gradual, the whole what would have been a complex problem of solving, like the whole production line, it becomes gradual and step by step, and it is done. Then there's easy adoption to technology. You all know that technology changes. Like last year, by June, whoever had an iPhone 11 was feeling really good. They had the latest phone. But by now, probably it's getting outdated. Whoever bought a laptop and it was touch screen, probably they felt they had now there's a touch screen that has more cameras and any other programs. So because they're doing this gradually, it also gives you time to adapt with the changing technology. But assuming now you go into, and some of you need to put this in concept. If you want to change a very big system like a production line, it is not something that is going to take the whole deal to end today. You go in now, you make a research, you do a requisition, the containers are involved and everything. What you bought, if the process started 2 years ago, what you started and was current then, by the time it is delivered here, new machines have been delivered, new technology. But if you're doing it gradually and step by step, keep changing with the technology. Shortcomings. These are shortcomings or some of the disadvantages or some of the challenges. It requires various expertise and self-managing teams, which can lead to management loss of control. Yeah, because these teams have been empowered to do their things at every stage. At the end of the day, the top management may not have full control to see and monitor what they are doing. So they may lose control because these guys are taking their time and they're doing their things at their step, at their time. The second one, alignment with long-term organizational systems may be a challenge as a result of a rapid adaptability to change. These changes are good, but the adaptability to change. Can the organization actually change quickly to this new production line that you're bringing? Or the other things that you have, can they align? You may want to change, you're looking at the production line. But if it's the production line and you have a conveyor belt taking the stores and you have a generator that the line that has, is it easy to align them to this new technology that you're bringing? It may not be. It may not be easy to align. It will take time. Then it suffers from rigid management and teams as it requires paradigm shift in the philosophy and approach. You have all worked with people. You know that it is not easy to adapt to change. For example, if you see wants to change to online and to be an e-learning, tertiary learning institution, someone will stand and say, what has the old method done with us? What about we were teaching children, they were writing notes in their books, then for exams we print questionnaires and papers they write, we mark, and now you want us to spend the nights upload material, then they read online, then the power, then the computers to every lecture, then everything. And they say, no, what do you think you're going to lose money? Actually, you're going to lose money. Let people come and write with their papers and go home. So there will always be some people who are against or a little bit rigid to adapt to change. That is another challenge. Managing the scope may be a challenge due to the need to adapt to emerging changes since, yes, managing the scope. The scope are the stages of change that you have actually put in plan or planned to have. It may be a challenge. Since you're doing it gradually, you may buy, for example, you want to change at the end of the day a whole production line. So you do it gradually. The first, you buy a control panel, you install it, it moves. By the time you go to buy the production line or the channel, the technology has changed. What you're buying now that is on the market and your producer and your supplier has is not compatible to the control channel that you had bought earlier. So there's a problem here to actually manage the whole scope till the end. It's a challenge since you're doing things gradually. So you'd rather buy things and move at once. Aha. Some technologies may expire or become obsolete. Yes, this is direct. If you had bought a computer to control, by the time you do to buy the last bit of the production line, this computer doesn't have some of the products about the programs. It can't run some of the programs. It has actually become old and expired, or probably is obsolete. You may need to buy a new computer that is compatible with the new production line that you are putting in place. There could be retirement of some. Okay, let Costa continue with this.
There could be retirement of some implementers of the policy to leave work before the ultimate goal is achieved. As we all know that most people do change, there is a lot of labor turnover. It's really hard to find someone working at a specific place, normally when it comes to the private sector, for more than 20 years. Therefore, the implementers, the original, and as we have seen, design-based incrementalism, it takes a long period of time. It can be 5, 10, whatever. But in that process, we may have a turnover, and one of the implementers is gone. Therefore, we have to hire a new one whom shall have to come with costs, like we have to train that part. The person will have to be trained in order for him to understand how the the initial plan has been going. Therefore, that causes a lag in the system. In case of a bank loan, to facilitate the process, it may occur more loans, more interest in the long run, as we have seen that in the more time you take, the more interest you have to pay. And with these projects, one thing we have seen that it takes a lot of time. With these projects, as I was still saying that in these projects they take a lot of time. Therefore, that means uh, in case an organization, a company has acquired a loan, it means they will have to incur more interest rates in order to pay back, in order to fund that money. Therefore, that is a limitation to a project. There could be change in the legality and regulations because the ultimate before there could be change in the legality and regulations before the ultimate goal is achieved. Here, I will use there are a lot of legalities required for certain things to be done. Let me say, when it comes to emission of these fumes and what. Let me say Mukwano right now is emitting fumes in water. NEMA may approve of it as of now, but in the future, the plan may change and NEMA can come up and say, no, you should build underground tanks, something of that sort, where you can store your waste and decompose it in some way. Therefore, if the ultimate goal was to achieve something else, then automatically it has been phased out. In conclusion, let Henry take you through this conclusion.
Yeah, quickly in conclusion, therefore, all this writing and the literature that you see, in short, it shows that it takes time to do with design-based incrementalism because you change the method, the architecture changes, and everything changes, and every bit as you move, you may need to change along the way. So it is not easy because it is as you work on the changes and the designs and you're changing every bit the method, the architecture work, and the space and the names. So in the long run, since there is always change and there's and the whole everything, there's a lot of a paradigm shifting every time. So you may need to keep changing things along the way. So all in all, as much as design-based incrementalism may be good or easy to implement, at the end of the day, it may not be easily applicable and achievable for change, for the changes are always continuous and moving. Thank you very much. We don't have time for you to ask questions or clarification, but I hope we have been elaborate enough and this could serve the purpose of this. Thank you and God bless you.